Hello to all my friends out there. So I'm up early, which is very unusual for me. I'm nocturnal and I cannot wake up in the morning, but this morning I woke up at 6:54. By some standards, that's late. So, okay, I made myself for the day some chamomile tea and I'm drinking it out of my stein. You know, ooh. Hard to pour from this little pitcher into the stein. So I'll just have a little bit because it's not quite ready. Okay, so now, if some of you get to know me, you're going to say, you are somehow the luckiest person alive. And in my life, I've been accused of being very lucky. And I am very lucky. But it's not really luck. It's God's unmerited favor. Like my son, you know, that was like the luckiest day of my life. It's the day I had that guy. This is good. You know, the stein, I think this is supposed to be for drinking cold beverages, but it works really good keeping your warm beverage warm. Okay, what happened was I did a chat, and you know, I got a rude person or two, but I wasn't really upset. I can't stand a bully in the first place, but you know, I got a couple rude people on my chat, one or two. I think it was one. Or it could have been a group, you know. So anyway, I subscribed to TJ Prepper, and she did a video. It was Squash Puppies, and it had Rhoda, you be you girl. And I just thought it was the sweetest thing because she said, you know, don't change your makeup, or, you know, don't worry about people. And I just thought it was the sweetest thing ever. And I have the sweetest, nicest followers ever, especially TJ. I just started following her and I have learned so much stuff off of her videos. But as luck would have it, the video was Squash Puppies. So you might be going, well, so what? Well, it's a big deal. You know, if you should ever have to eat beans, I mean, for real, say you go broke and you ever have to eat beans, this recipe is really going to save your bacon because you're going to have a little vegetable and you're going to have a little oil to fry your vegetable in your Squash Puppies. It's everything in the stockpile. And I told you guys a story. One of my clients, when she was young, she was a polygamist, and that's illegal in the U.S. We still have polygamy, but generally not. And there was a polygamous compound in Mexico, and you know, it was religious too. And she went to the polygamy compound in Mexico. And when she got down there, she almost starved. Her husband came up here to try and find some work, but for some reason she stayed down there with her daughter, and she almost starved. It was anything but good. It was really, really bad. And so one day an old man came up to her and he said, ma'am, your daughter is starving. She didn't know she was from America. Look, a little orb. Anyway, so she had no idea. She was a city slicker, and he gave her a bag of beans, a bag of rice, and some vegetables, and he told her, plant some vegetables, plant a garden. And so she did, and she survived, but they had literally almost starved. So the beans and rice in the stockpile is good, but you're going to need some vegetables. Okay, I always tell my son, if you need vegetables, if you have to eat beans, fry potatoes. But what would be even better is these squash puppies. And as soon as I watched the video, I realized once again, you know, God's unmerited favor. I got this squash puppy recipe, and I posted it on my Twitter so you could all get it. But I'm going to give you the recipe in a minute because some of my followers can't seem to get to Twitter. You just go Rhoda Stone Twitter, and I usually leave the address in the comments. So the squash puppies are really easy to make. And in Mexico, you know, where they eat a lot of beans and rice, coincidentally, they have squash. Okay, in my family, we boiled the squash, you know, and put some butter and salt and pepper on it, or else some people fry the squash in a little margarine with salt and pepper, but the squash puppies are much better. And she was using yellow crookneck squash. And so I want to mention, on my Twitter, I put 20 bean recipes. One of the followers, one of my other awesome followers, left bean recipes. And I posted them immediately. And you guys, get those recipes, God forbid. All right, now let me give you TJ's. Better to go straight to the horse's mouth and go to Twitter, or better yet, subscribe. And then she said, this is my grandmother's recipe. So all of a sudden, you know, my ears perked up, of course. So she used the food processor with her squash, but I think I'll just grate mine. A lot of times I grate potatoes, and I just fry them in oil. And today I'm going to make, I have some bacon in the refrigerator I need to use. So I'm going to fry the bacon. I'm going to make beans with bacon, and then I'm going to make these, and some cornbread, and I'm going to make these squash puppies. I was excited. I would have done this last night, but I was too exhausted. Okay, so she used her food processor, and she added 1 egg, and it was supposed to be a 1/2 cup buttermilk, but she used 1 cup powdered milk. Okay, if you don't have buttermilk and you want to make buttermilk out of powdered milk, all you do is add to 1 cup powdered milk 1 tablespoon lemon or vinegar, and that's you know, the same as buttermilk. It's not as good as buttermilk, but if you're using it in cooking, 1 medium onion, 3/4 cup, I have to get some cornmeal today, 3/4 cup cornmeal. They have little ones at Dollar Tree, or better yet, Sprouts. You can buy a couple cups, flour, and then you fry them in oil, and then you salt them. And she used to eat hers with ketchup when she was a kid. So I was really, really grateful for that recipe, and you know, for her being super nice and gracious about my my follower that wasn't so nice. Okay, so last night I made mention of the insectoids in my my video. In the alien video, I said I was talking about why the cloning is a little bit dangerous. Perhaps aliens can use an egg with the nucleus removed to insert alien DNA. And you know, one of the ladies got upset. Or she could have just been rude and obnoxious. I don't know. Anyway, so then I mentioned last night, well, could a little fly be used as a replacement container for an alien? Possibly. Maybe, maybe not. It's just a discussion. It's, you know, not a big deal. So I was thinking that I had pretty much covered everything I really wanted to say on the alien issue. And so instead of doing insectoids, the reason I kept saying insecticide is because in the chat I had a question, could an insectoid be killed with insecticide? My son and I were discussing that, and we came to no conclusion. Possibly. Well, if the replacement containers were insects, yeah. But anyway, so I'm moving on now. For the next chat is going to be prepping. Because when I got this recipe, I realized, a lot of people in the country are really, devastated financially with these floods, and perhaps might have to eat beans, God forbid. So anyway, check out the bean recipes and check out the video. Squash Puppies, Rhoda, UBU Girl, TJ Prepper. That's a great video. I believe, it's just my opinion, that not only was she lovable and she wanted to stick up for me, which was super lovable, but there was an anointing on that video, because that squash puppy seems like just a little deal, but it's not a little deal. You need vegetables if you're going to eat beans and rice. Like tomatoes, like squash, like corn, like potatoes. Okay, you guys, God bless you all.